Hello, me again. Making sure it's working, sorry. Recording, it says. Right, it's about 3 hours later now. My battery gave up the ghost. Even though I had fully charged it last night. But I had a couple of false goes at this earlier and that wasted, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes each. Which was enough to do the battery in. Right, I hope you were able to see this, and I hope I've chosen the same quality as before. All I've done, might have to do this as a part 2 video unless I can learn how to splice them, basically. Right, all I have done is I have cut the red lead, basically, the lead that goes to the top of the battery, to the correct length, stripped it and attached it to the top of the battery. That's all I have done. Also, I discovered something that you should definitely be aware of. If you've left those wires a bit too tight, because there's gluing to happen now, you have to make sure that you can pull the 510 out far enough to get the glue on there. Because if you've made it a bit too tight, then you might not be able to get the 510 out. Now, having soldered all of this stuff on, you might have to unsolder something and change the routing or something. Anyhow, I can just about do it without changing my routing, because I usually leave a load of slack by, like I've gone all the way around with the red wire, as it were, all the way around the back, so that if I mess up the stripping of the wire, then I've got maybe 3 goes at it before I'm getting short of wire. So I sort of take it round the battery. It helps to fill the space as well. And I have just about, without rerouting, got enough space, enough pull out to get enough glue on the 510 connector. Right, I've also attached the Ego connector onto the 510, and now the lighting is all changed as well, because instead of it being 1 o'clock, which it was probably when the battery went, it's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon and the sun has gone round to the back of the house, so I'm not sure if that will help. It's a sort of a yellow light. So hopefully it'll help. Right. Epoxy. Am I finished soldering? Yes, I think I'm finished soldering. Tiny bit of a tidy up. Need that. Sorry to waste your time. I should have done this before starting. Right, what did I say? Epoxy. Just get for me anyhow, a shiny piece of cardboard with a bit of gap filling required. That does go in there. There's a reasonable amount of gap filling required. So I'm not sure if you've used this stuff before, but if you haven't, once you get it on the go, you have to go for it. Right, 1 cocktail stick. Maybe another one mightn't go amiss, a longer one. Not that it matters the length. Anyhow, I'm pleased that I more or less showed on the first video how to finish just by touching the red wire on there. Basically the job was finished, done then. The white pack, the black pack. Right, like I said, I've got 5 minutes or so, even though it says on the pack you've got 15 minutes, and I usually make too much anyhow, and that's probably too much. Black top on again. And this stuff, of course, is lethal. once it begins to set, because once it's set, it's really not reversible. So don't get it on things that you mustn't get it on. Ready to put away again. Right, mix it together to activate it. Now as soon as it started mixing together like that, your time starts from now, sort of thing, before it goes off. I will I'll attach an ATI as well. The other thing that I have done is I attached my working ATI just to make sure the whole thing was working and that the pressure switch was working, and I gave it a few sucks and light came on. So and smoke came out as well. So it may be easier to hold in one position or sit in one position or whatever with all this with all the gubbings on. It's really just to try and get the final article sort of straight. Right. See, when I let go, it flops. So I shall prop that up somehow. An SD card box. For a little straight pipe, this will look better. This is my little tip that I've bent from my CE4. Tiny bit more. Ooh. Doesn't get glue on the SD card. Let's see what it looks like height-wise with that in there. I'm wiping off rag at the ready, and we've already probably lost 4 minutes or so of the setting time, which in a way mightn't be a bad thing if I'm ready to go now. But to wipe the excess off, I've got that towel. I'm now too high with the pipes, out of line again. So remove the SD card and think that it looks okay, straightness wise, without it. Pull it out again. Another little mix of the stuff. And this is where I have to start praying. I'm not really good with glues where it sets within a given time. Okay, that's only the finishing position. Some more at the back, sorry, at the bottom. Making sure that we are definitely capable of unscrewing our ego adapter, 510 to ego adapter that is, whenever it comes to setting time. The other pair of glasses. These will do. Right. Okay, this is a vital point. It's okay still to get it on your fingers at this stage. You're going to start swearing in a minute. My most used tool Oh no, it's a mess now already. And this video has been my cocktail stick. It's going off. Right, I need to get it in there. But it's no use in getting it in there unless I can take the friggin' 510 connector off. Right, it moved. It's my fault, the whole thing. Now I've got too much adhesive on really. So I'm not going to be able to go for having the straighteners on. I'm going to have to do it by eye now so that I can definitely get these two connectors off. Right, my finger already stuck to that. Where's my towel? Here it is. It'll come off your fingers alright. Unless you got them stuck together, of course. Anyhow, that's what I meant about hating this part of the job. Right, now I'm going to push it in home. And whatever's left to do is going to have to come off by force. By force means filing it off, or whatever way you can do to finish it off. That's definitely, right, it's not bad looking. Not bad looking. Right, a last look now to see how if it's anywhere near straight, because I've got probably one last chance to do any straightening I wanted to do. And it looks straight anyhow, ish. That's just a last tiny push that pushed it in about another 0.5 millimeter. And if it's not straight now, too bad. It looks reasonably even. If anything, it's got to go up that way. It's just the ego that's moving. Right, it's really going off in there. The ego has dropped. The ego has landed. Right, looking at this stuff on the board now. See how long you've got? So it's basically like that inside the pipe ball. So that's away in a safe place. Washing my hands, probably not that it'll make any difference to the tiny bits of adhesive that are left on there. Just got to give that another couple of minutes. I better take that ego out now if it'll come out easily. Just to make sure there's not a tiny little grain of it stuck in there. Sticking to the 510, that is. The ego is twisting. Hopefully not the other one. And the certainly the Ego, the 510 connector. Okay, there's maybe a millimetre, if that, sticking out past the end of the shank, or the stem, or whatever you call it. Right, while I'll leave that for another couple of minutes before sticking a proper atty in it, I'm going to tell you my tiny bit of history on the pipe making. That's my original one. That is just a pipe conversion from when I used only the CE4. Drilled a hole through the stem. This had a cracked stem, this old pipe, and stuck the 650 Ego battery. Not as easy as it looks, and if you were doing that, you should do it with a 15mm hole. The Ego battery is 14mm. Just stick a couple of bits of tape, masking tape or whatever, just to build up the difference. But if you do it exactly, it is just too tight. The drill, when you've only got a couple of millimeters to work with, the briar gets very hot and brittle, and certainly it cracked there, cracked on the bottom where I went in too far, but nevertheless it gave me the feeling of a pipe, and I still like this old pipe. Still works well. I keep the 650s charged up. After that one, I did something else on the same theme, which is really just basically, it's another Japanese Rohan pipe that had a thicker stem, but even then I cracked that one. But nevertheless, it still gave me the pipe for each battery that I had. That was all I had, was 2 Ego 650 batteries. And it worked well, and the battery's not, or the switch is not too far away from your fingers to just get the feel of a pipe. So that was all I knew how to do at the time. Then my first attempt at putting a bigger battery in bowl was this little automatic, which I still like this little pipe. It works well. I kept changing bits, top of the bowl bits, but basically it's all held on together with blue tack. Looks the part, automatic. I didn't put a working natty on there, else I would show you the automatics, which I'll hopefully be able to show you on this in a minute. Then from that, I did what is my favourite pipe now, because it looks worn in already just after 2 weeks. This was another shape from China, probably cost less than £5, but it had a thin little stem there which didn't look man enough for the job, but it probably was. It's aluminium. Went all the way into the base, and had a really difficult job getting down through this Bakelite for 20mm down as far as 40mm depth, but nevertheless I got there. Covered the little aluminium stem with bamboo. This is a side button pipe. Maybe I'll do a video on these one day. Yeah, sure. So this is my current all day vape, but I usually take 2 pipes if I'm going anywhere, probably this one and the automatic. This is a mini Vivinova on there at the moment, and it stands up like that, which is lovely, or it stands up, sits down okay. And a couple of 3 days ago I made another one, more or less, well, the same principle as that, with a side button. Haven't got round to dressing up the top properly yet, but I will. I'll have a different top on it. And this is a modern rebuildable CE4, but I had the problem with the 510 sticking out a bit too far, but I can get a couple of washers probably, and put it in there to dress it up if it bothered me. And Then there was this one, and that's my lot so far. Right, well, I'm going to trust that enough now to put my CE. I wanted a straight stem. This is straightish stem. I'm going to trust this enough now to screw in. Right, it's removable by nail now, but it doesn't stick to anything, so I should really get what I can off now while it's still not extremely hard, but it's certainly holding. Right, let's see if it works. I'm not going to try twisting it too tight, but nevertheless I have got to make the connection. It's a bit off square. I mean, the 510's not totally central. Right, the test. It's an automatic. Works well. The good draft in there, whatever makes a good draft, I have no idea. Oh, I have got it'll take up the slack very nicely. I have got a little dressing collar that fits on that corncob pipe, even though it is coppery or golden coloured. Here it is, it's goldy one. The goldy one, which just fills in that 0.5 millimeter that was sticking out. Right, now carefully glue it, or screw it back up again without twisting the... Anyhow, I'm not going to force that too much while it's... But just to show you again that it works. It works fine with that CE5, and it looks more central than it looked without the ring on. Tiny bit off, but that's hard to avoid. You need a very good eye. Right, now we got back to the top of the bowl, and usually I put, now that I've got my wire in there, I usually put an insulator in there, which I have just a piece of cardboard that I've pre-cut. For now, I'm looking at some little 2mm thick Teflon, I think they're 18mm circles, and they would go in there just nicely, so that when I now try to twist this LED down, to come into the center rather, that right, I've got to get that without breaking the wires, blunt end. I've got to get that to come in so that it sits in the center, which it's not doing for now. But it will. Right, that's not far away from the center. And just some ideas how to cap it off. I can have a hole through this is a 30mm button, I think. Just hold that down with the... Well, quite often to keep the battery in place, I might use maybe a few, if there's enough space for it, a few cotton buds, or just the plastic beside them, just to fill the gap down the side, making sure I don't disturb the wires. Or if that's too thick, then a few cocktail sticks, so long as they're tightly in there, tightly packed, to allow air around the battery still to keep the battery cool. Not that I think it would overheat, but nevertheless it's just another thought. I would rather have just thin wedges of some sort or other. That's one idea, just that. Bit of blue tack underneath it, like this has had before, to stick it to the top edge of the pipe or top rim of the pipe. Or like I've used a few times before, this top. But the options with tops it's just endless again, you know. It's just various buttons. There's a 30mm button that certainly if I vape that sideways, I feel that the blue light would show through it. That's a nice effect, in fact. It's got a solid brass button, well, probably plastic, in the middle with white edging, but it's not quite the right shape. Got some lovely buttons yesterday, but I don't know how I'm going to use them, from Czechoslovakia. Absolutely beautiful they are. To dress up the top of that, if there was a wrong colour or whatever, then I could, if you see this under daylight, it shines beautifully, just like these others. Although they haven't displayed them very well on eBay. They're Czechoslovakian glass buttons with a special paint, and then they're fired again so that the paint is really hardened on there. But they're even too flashy for a pipe, certainly for a little pipe. A little humble pipe like this, which was all that I ever wanted when I started thinking about making a pipe. I just wanted a little corn cob or Ozark or something simple, a little Popeye pipe, a little short thing that I could use all day, every day. Okay, if you've got this far, you've done well. It must be best part of an hour now that I've been on here yapping. So thanks for looking, and I hope it helps. Any questions, just put them on the text bit down underneath the video. That's if I put them on YouTube. When I look them over again, we'll see. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye bye.